just incredible. Two. DJ Sourmilk.
One. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Yeah. Power 106.
Yeah.
Liftoff show every night. Just incredible.
Sourmilk.
Guy to my right doesn't need much of an introduction, man. We are so honored to have Common on the show with us, man.
Peace. What's up with y'all brothers,
Common.
man? Great
Bro.
to see y'all, man.
Great to
Great
see
to
you.
be here.
Bro.
Yes.
Yes.
We've
man.
been looking forward to tonight for a minute, man. Thank you for being here.
Dude, thank you guys, man. Thank you all for having me on, and I'm honored to be here, man, for real.
So
Thank
you took over the music world. You took over the, TV and film world. Now into books.
Hit author.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like, man, like expressing myself through different art forms is if I'm passionate about it, I just do it. I don't look at myself and think that there's any limitations if it's something that I care about and something that I feel in my spirit. Writing a book for me was, I love writing and I love reading too, to be honest. And books have always, the autobiography of Malcolm X, The Alchemist. These books helped shape my life. This book called Return to Love by Marion Williamson. All these books, they were impactful in changing my life and improving my life. Yeah. So I wanted to offer something like that to, to our generation, to the generations after, something that can live beyond me. And it's something that people can sit down and either read or listen to and can apply to their lives. So that's why I just, took on being an author.
That's dope, man.
The title, Let Love Have the Last Word. Talk to us about that title. That's an amazing title. Man.
Yeah, man. That title was, I was looking at all that was going on in the world. Like, so many people were talking about the divisiveness and, the president, and it was just things felt a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, throughout all this, what is the prevailing theme? What will make us rise above all this negativity? What will make me look at the person who really don't believe what I believe, but still be able to respect them? And that's love, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was talking about it from a perspective of not the floaty, fluffy love, but a radical love. Like, I look at what the Black Panthers was doing and what Dolores Huerta and what Angela Davis and all the, people, that's love too. Like, activism is love,
right.
So I really wanted to approach these times from a place of just lifting each other up instead of being like, man, I'm gonna be on this bogus, or because you don't think the way I think, then I gotta attack you.
We can't be friends. Or we can't have a friendship or something. Yeah, nah. Love that, man.
Speaking on the president, you mentioned the president. Do you wake up still and just trip out that Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America?
You know what? I kind of don't even take it in as much, because for me it's like, man, the reason I even talked about this book or wanted to bring this book out is like, what am I gonna do in this day and age? Am I gonna sit and just pout about Donald Trump and keep digesting that rhetoric and political propaganda, or am I gonna do something for you and your family and for people who I don't know, and lift up my community and go out and do work for my family, and just that, to me, that's the way I combat a lot of the negative things we see, or what Donald Trump is doing, is by going out and doing for the people.
Yeah. Man.
And I don't want to sit on this for too long, but when you see someone who I'm not sure what your relationship with Kanye West is like now, I'm sure you guys are still friends.
Yeah.
But when you see someone like Kanye West stand by this man, do you kind of just sit back and yo, to each their own, or is that something where you reach out to him
Well, I never even reached out to him about it, to be honest. By the time I did get to see him, it was like I just wanted to conversate with him and check and see how Kanye was doing, as a person, because that's been my brother for a while. So it's like, I want to know how you're doing as a person, regardless of what your political beliefs are and what's going on. I just want to make sure you good and healthy and feeling all right. But I'm man enough, I'm strong enough to know that I don't agree with where his thoughts are, and I can say that
Right.
with love as I'm talking about, and be like, yo, bro, that's not what I'm on, and like, let me tell you the reasons why, and we just can, we can move on from there. Like, we got a strong enough friendship where we can disagree and keep it moving. I think that's what, but I definitely, just felt like, man, I felt like Kanye didn't even have a true full understanding of what everything was going on.
Yeah.
And because I feel like I know him as a person enough to know that he don't want families just trying to get in the country to be separated, and like he's not on that. Like and I've honestly been to a prison with Kanye and Kim. And I saw how he cared for people. So it's like, and I known him for a while. Just he always looked out for dudes, putting cats on albums, giving cats chance to do. So I just know that ain't where his heart is, and what Donald Trump is doing politically and socially for people, that ain't where Kanye's heart is. So I just felt like he didn't have a full scope of it, but that still wasn't no pass, because you still obviously speaking that out, so some people will follow. Of course. Yeah, but that's my bro. If we ever had to talk about it, I would tell him that. But I think we moving on. He on, he on his Sunday service.
He got the church going. He's doing some great things.
Yeah, he's doing some great things.
And you can tell that he's applying the energy. It seems to be in the right spots now.
Yeah.
And it's dope that y'all have a healthy relationship like that. Yeah. And I could tell even by watching his Letterman interview, it's almost like it's just the conversation that he's passionate about, holding the conversation. It didn't seem like he would hold a grudge if you had your own opinion, I had my own opinion.
He wouldn't.
It's just kind of about having the conversation, and sharing opinions, because even through that, I just learned something about you right now. You know what I mean? In the middle of this conversation. So there is beauty in that word love, like you said, and everything.
But that's, I mean, that is the important thing you just brought up, because ultimately, like, with us disagreeing, if we disagreed about something, I'm gonna learn something. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna understand something in a different way. Right. So, I'm all for that. Yeah. It's like, I just think that, when you get to the level of, just because I don't agree with you, I'm gonna come shoot up the spot and all that's just like ignorance. That's that's hatred at another level. Right. Yeah. So. Right.
So again, the book, Let Love Have the Last Word. How long was that burning inside of you, man, to want to write a book, or is that something that kind of just came about?
Well, see, I had a memoir come out like 2011, so I kind of just told my story like in that book. Yeah. But man, like, I was slated to write a book and another book like this book, but for about two and a half years ago, I knew I wanted to talk about love, but I didn't want to talk about just love and romantic relationships. So I really had to dig deep and see what aspects of love I wanted to talk about. And that became me talking about love for God, love for self, love for, like I said, others, people you don't even know, never been in the proximity of, like how to love in situations. I talk about fatherhood and my daughter confronting me saying that she didn't think I was a good father, and me being naturally defensive about that, and mad and hurt, but then eventually saying, man, I gotta listen to her because this is her perspective, and that was an application of love. Really, I'm just talking about practicing this thing, like purpose, like having a purpose of like, man, how can I, in this situation when I'm pissed off at somebody, not let my emotions overtake me and really be present and act in love. So it was, once I started getting that like baseline and that thought about, that's the direction I want to write about, things just started to progress. And then, due to me dealing with therapy and different aspects of mindfulness and all those things, I was able to go deeper than I usually would. And I go, I consider myself an open person. Like in my music, I talk about a lot of things, but when you start peeling off layers about yourself and finding out new things, you really look and say, okay, am I gonna talk about this too? Right. And I felt like within the book I wanted to, actually the music, I've created an album inspired by the book, and the music was giving me even another place to talk about more stuff. So
And when your daughter approaches you with something like that, does your, I guess, like, we all have a stubbornness about ourselves. Like, does that make you be like, nah, she don't know what she's talking about? Or do you kind of sit back and be like, damn, like, I actually do see where she's coming from. I do see where I could have done things different. Or,
it's like I felt both those things. Like, it was like when she said certain things she was saying to me, I understood it was truth in it. Mm-hmm. And then some things I didn't agree with, but that I understood that was her truth because that's what she saw, that's what she felt.
Yeah.
And what I was learning in that process was like, man, real love listens, man. Like, and it's like, even if I don't agree with you, I still hear you out.
Right.
And let you finish your thought and say, okay, I respect that you feel that way. But this is how I feel. Yeah. And within that, you get a lot of growth. Me and Amoye, my daughter, that talk we had, man, that catapulted our relationship to a stronger level.
That's dope.
It's just like, man, because once you start putting stuff out on the table, and then you could like really live in your truth, And I think she's been able to be even more truthful with me by just saying, look, Dad, I ain't think you could have did this for me, you could have did that. And like some things I was really thinking like, yo, Amoye, you really think I wouldn't like pay for your SAT?
Yeah.
Like, you really think that? Like, come on now. But then, like I said, you got to at a certain point be like, okay,
here
I'm going to hear you out. So it's lessons learned, and you got a young one coming.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's your fatherhood advice to especially
this is
having
my first girl, man. I got the two boys,
right?
But everybody tells me boys and girls are completely different. What's something I need to know about raising a young queen? Man?
A young queen, I think the biggest thing I've felt and expressed to her is like, if you give your daughter the love that she deserves, which you will, then you're gonna really show her value, and she won't be like chasing men and trying to find value in other men, because she gonna already know that her foundation is set. She got somebody there that just cares for her. So I had to break it down and make sure that Amoye knew, like, yo, you are valued, like. And another lesson, I sat down and had that real talk, like, let her know, yo, this is what we be wanting, man. Like, this is what we going out there. I had that talk.
At some point, you gotta.
I had that talk.
Put that out there.
Yeah, because this talk happened right when Snapchat first started coming out, and her mother was like, "Yo, it's this little dude on Snapchat in his drawers and his underwear." I'm like, okay, it's time for me to have that talk. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to break it down to her, like, yo, this is what we want. This is what I wanted for like the majority of my life. Like, this is what dudes do. But I think one of the lessons I gave her was, like, man, any choice you make, let it be your choice. Like, don't do it because some guy tried to influence you to do it, or because your friends over on the other bed doing it. Because I can remember them days of having a little room and
having sleepovers.
Because somebody else doing it, you get caught up in doing it too. But I just told her to make her own choices and to value herself.
That's great advice, man.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Can't beat that advice, man.
Yeah.
Is it? What do you think about more, the honesty in your music or the honesty in a book? Is it almost more scary writing it out?
Man, that's a great question. I think that, music has always been a place for me to be super honest, and like, I always talk about hip-hop gave me a chance to talk about things that I didn't talk about in my real life. Like, like, I could just express so many things that, that I don't talk about, but I say it in rap.
Right.
So music has been probably one of the safest places for me to express myself, and art eventually, just as I became an actor and do those, but music for sure. Writing something in a book is a little more like, okay, these sentences are going to be there. People can stop and they're going to digest that. But I think because I, throughout my life, been through music and expressing myself in that way, like, I was writing songs about abortion when I was like you know, early on. And I was writing about love when my homies was frowning their faces like, why you doing a song about love? Come on, man. Right, go on some hard stuff. And I'm like, well, this is what I'm feeling right now, you know.
Right.
So I don't think I've been afraid to express the most vulnerable parts of me, but as I discover more parts, some of those places become even deeper. Like, because, you know, some of the things I talked about in the book is stuff you're not going to hear. You don't usually hear a black man discussing, speaking, whether it's therapy or molestation.
Right.
Those are things that kind of taboo in black and brown communities a lot, you know, and especially on the man side.
Right. I commend you for your honesty, man, in the book and opening up so much and peeling back some of those layers. You know, when I heard the childhood stories and the molestation stuff that you spoke on, I was blown away. Blown away. And I feel like that empowers and inspires a lot of your listeners, a lot of your fans, a lot of people reading the book who are going through other traumatic things in their life. Like, damn, while I was listening and going to his concerts and listening to his CDs, those were things that were going through your mind.
Yeah.
So, you know, credit to you on that, all respect.
Yeah.
And how did you cope with some of that stuff, you know, and launching your career and just becoming a man?
Well, you know, was deep about the discussion of molestation, and that happened in my life. Honestly, since I was a kid and when that happened, I actually just threw that memory away. I tucked it, didn't even, like, it didn't exist to me. Right? And that was just the way I had to deal with it. I didn't even know, like, I was doing a movie about sexual abuse. It was a movie called The Tale with Laura Dern, this actress Laura Dern, the great Laura Dern, actually. And we were in a scene together, and then we were going through the rehearsal of it, and I was like, yo, wait, this happened to me. And it kind of just came to my mind, and it started like, that was the first time I even remembered that this situation had happened. Wow. Yeah, and in that process, I just started to deal with it, you know, and process things, and you know, just really work towards my own healing, forgiveness, and like still be in the process. And I decided to write about it. I first wrote about it in a song. Like, it's a song from the project, from the album. It's called Memories of Home. And BJ the Chicago Kid is singing on it, but it's me talking about these memories. But I decided to write about it in the song, and then I was like, okay, I got to put this in the book too, because people do some people just sit down and read, and they will get these like lessons and relate to this story, whether this is their specific struggle or they have something else that they've been through, and feel okay to open up about it. Man. Because the opening up of certain things is what leads to like the healing of not only yourself but others. Yeah. And what I'm talking about with child sexual abuse and molestation, those are things that's like people have, and through generations, have hid. Like, my mother and some of her friends have probably experienced some of the same things, but never spoke about it. And then, you know, some families know it happened in their family and they keep it hush. Mm-hmm. And to me, what I've observed is that's how the cycle keeps going. Yeah. And, you know, we talked about it off air. I've been, you know, going to a lot of prisons and visiting people who've incarcerated. And so many people whose background, they like, man, they come from abuse, like sexual abuse and all, like, who ended up being violent offenders. So I'm saying it's a cycle that we don't, and you know, I'm a person that's like, man, I want to be for the people and do community work, but that means on every level. That means like working to help people economically. That means helping people emotionally, you know what I'm saying, spiritually. Yes. So if I'm like, man, I'm from my hood, this is an issue that goes on in our hood that we can stop.
Yeah, we gotta stop.
We gotta stop.
Man, that's crazy. Now, when you first decide to talk to somebody about this, is this something that, you know, you speak to a therapist about, or is there someone in your circle that you confide in, whether, you know, whoever it be?
I was actually it was somebody in my circle that I talked about, because I was rapping the song to her, and she was like, man, you know, that really happened? I was like, yeah. Then she was like, man, you know, man, I think you should put it in the book, because I was telling her, I don't know if I'm going to put it in the book. I'm just going to leave it in the song, you know, because that felt like the safe place for me to do it. But I still realized eventually, after I played the song for some of the, you know, for some of the guys who produced the song, like Kareem and some more, and Burness, they were like, man, you saying this in a rap song? That's, you know, they were like, man, that's courageous of you. I think I got to the point where I felt okay with talking about it, just because I felt like I'm doing this and saying this so that it can help other people. It ain't about like, man, let me just talk about this just to talk about it. It's like, man, this me going to this place is going to help somebody get through this struggle.
100%.
So that's you know, essentially what made me do it.
That's dope, man. Now the you said the song is on the new album. What else can you tell us about the new project?
Oh man, the new project is, oh man, it's super dope, man. It's called Let Love, and I think, you know, the music is well rounded. I go to like some places that are personal, but it's not heavy. You know, it's like more like inspiring, soulful music that got the boom bap. Still, like, I still just love boom bap where drums knock and but you know, we explore things musically, and it's produced by Kareem Riggins, some more Pender Hughes and Bernice Travis, and also a track called Her Love by the late great J Dilla. Yeah. So, man, I'm super excited about the album. I feel like the sound is it's in between a B, like Water for Chocolatey, like, and I don't want to. I try not to be like, well, my album sounds like this album, because it's his own new sound. But the warmth of the music and the soul of the music gives me that. You know, I feel like I was able to go to those places where I could just be an artist, and the love of music just comes through what I'm doing, and I'm not thinking about anything but just the raw feeling of creating great music.
Man, that's dope. And what can you tell us about the Diller record, man? Obviously, you were super tight with him.
Yeah.
Did a lot of records with him.
Diller, man, that's one of my like greatest friends in life. I got to know him well just through us creating music, but then, you know, we became roommates, and you know, I was around him until he transitioned. That was my roommate. So Diller was making beats at our house. He was making beats in the hospital bed. He left some beats behind in his MPC, his drum machine, and I hadn't heard these beats, to be honest. But as I was working on the album, I was talking to Kareem, and I was like, man, I'm kind of thinking, you know, somebody close to me was like, you should use a Diller beat. It's a Diller beat. And I'm like, I don't know if I should do that or not. But I just started feeling like I want to, and I felt like it would be an honor to have a Diller beat on there. Especially when Kareem was like, I got these Diller beats, and some of the beats he had made for me. So I heard this one, and I was like, man, I'd already thought about doing a song kind of discussing where hip-hop is for me and my love for the culture now. And I was like, man, what producer better than Diller? Is nobody better than Diller that I would want to do that. I first was able to do it with No ID, who I first started in hip-hop with. And Diller was, you know, one of the most pivotal producers in my life and in the music. So to be able to do a song about hip-hop, you know, over a Diller beat was just like, this is what I got to do. That was a song. I mean, I write my songs just free, like this, you know, just kind of just riding around, freestyling and saying it in my head. But I made sure that I treated this song with a lot of care, you know, but still with the spirit of just staying free with it. And the song is featuring Daniel Caesar, and also a special guest, Dwelle, is on it, doing some stuff like so. It's a dope song, man. It's about hip hop.
You mentioned you know, the one with No ID, which I'm guessing is I Used to Love Her.
Yeah.
Which is that 15 years ago now?
No, actually 25.
25.
Yeah,
My
25,
math.
right?
You could tell I was terrible.
No, look, dude, I be forgetting.
I knew there was a 5 though. I knew it ended with a 5.
Yeah.
Either 15 or 25. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk to us about your longevity, man. Like, what do you think has been the secret for? Or I don't know if you want to share the secret. You know,
I mean, no. I don't
if you
mind
want to give
sharing.
away the sauce, you know what I'm saying? But you know, to stay relevant for so long, man. And that wasn't even the start of your career. You know, that was, I think that was the second album.
That
right?
was the second album, yeah. I mean, I think first and foremost, I just believe, man, my love for music and hip hop culture and writing has always driven me to want to be better and grow.
Yeah.
And that hunger to learn about music and learn about life, it allows me as a man and a person to get better, like to grow. And then I think I don't stay in one place. Like if you listen to Can I Borrow $1, which is my first album, it doesn't sound like Resurrection, and Resurrection doesn't sound like One Day It All Makes Sense.
Yeah.
They all may have a thread of the spirit of who I am as an artist, but musically I take chances. That's why I went out there on Electric Circus.
Yeah.
But I believe as an artist, those type of albums like actually allow you to have a longer career, because you like at a certain point you like, man, I'm going wherever the fuck I want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
this is where I'm going on music. Like this is what I'm doing. So I think, you know, part of that has been just me being open to evolving as a human being and being honest with where I am at the moment, and not being like, okay, I got to fit into what's going on, whether it's in the popular, or whether it's on radio, whether it's like on the streets is feeling this.
Yeah.
You know, being true to yourself is really one of the
That's a
key.
key. That's
It's
a
a
key.
key. But you know, I guess that goes with knowing yourself too. You gotta know who you are to be true to it. But you know, shoot, I'm a believer in God. I thank God. This, you know, to me, the glory is to the Most High that I'm here as an artist, and I think exploring other aspects, you know, from acting to man, I do speaking engagements. I'm writing books, and those things. Eventually, when I come back to music, I got more tools to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so.
Not to cut you off,
Yeah,
no,
no, go ahead.
not to put you on the spot or nothing. But as we're talking about your albums, I see you eyeing the catalog here. Our cameraman George was nice enough to bring in the whole catalog here, man. The whole
George.
catalog. I believe the Common Sense album is even the Common Sense one, right? Before it switched over to Common. There's this really dope picture on the internet where Jay-Z like kind of put his CDs in order.
Really?
Could you do that with your catalog?
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, on a scale of
Your favorite on
All my
top,
favorites. On
Yeah.
top? Okay.
like you kind of rate the joints that, you know,
From
from a hip hop.
favorite on the top. All right. Let me get to the. All right. Let me see.
That's tough.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh man.
There's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
There's some classics here.
Ooh man.
It's like a Rubik's cube. It's like putting a puzzle together.
Okay. Let me see. All right. No, I think Resurrection might have to go before that. Let me see. Yeah, strange enough, I'm putting this before.
You're breaking my heart.
Yes. Man.
One day it'll all make sense.
Yeah, man.
That was.
That's see that. No, go ahead.
I kind of like that. I don't know. It's ain't no shit.
It's a toss up.
Yeah.
All right, so read them off to us here. Read them
Okay.
off from your favorite to least favorite.
My favorite is Like Water for Chocolate. My second favorite is B.
Okay.
B. My third favorite is Resurrection. My fourth favorite is Finding Forever. my fifth favorite. Let me get back to this. Is One Day It'll All Make Sense. Damn. And my sixth favorite is Electric Circus. My seventh favorite is Black America Again. My eighth favorite is Universal Mind Control. My ninth favorite, actually, honestly, would be Can I Borrow a Dollar, just because I was on some free. My 10th favorite would be, because I was just on some free-ass, like, 19, 18-year-olds. I'm on the cover with drinking beer, like, freedom. So I like the freedom in that. Man, Dream of the Believer was my 10th. August Green, because that wasn't really my solo, is my 11th. Okay. And then Nobody's Smiling is my 12th. Wow. Yeah, so
some things in there.
Yeah.
What makes this number one? Like
I think, man, I think it was like an album that, like, musically, I kind of created a freedom that I wanted to do that I had never done before. I felt like it didn't sound like any other hip-hop albums before. J Dilla was just, who is one of my favorite producers, to have him produce it and have Amir executive produce it. It was like these great minds coming together. I gave a wide range of who I am on that, like, from stories talking about, like, my grandmother getting robbed at the boat, which is a story I made up, to, you know,
storytelling.
Storytelling. To the questions and a song for Asada. And even my father's rap on there, like his poetry on there was like getting better. And I had a Primo beat and we just was vibing, and then the song The Light was a life changer for me to a certain degree, because that was the first time that people that didn't, like, I was always an underground artist, and that was the first time mainstream people even heard. I noticed the difference, because actually I remember, like, being able to do, like, jams, you know, like Power 106 jams, you know, like it's like, and be able to, I saw people who were like little kids that was like singing the song, and I was like, dang, this is the first time my song ever got to that level, and I still could perform that song and people still sing it. So
mandatory.
So that might that's what I even though being like Water for Chocolate is, they, you know, I go back and forth, like,
this got to be one of the greatest starts to an album.
Oh my God.
In the history of
that intro
hip hop albums.
That intro is
crazy. So many greats.
Man, that was my man Derek Hodge. He's a bass player who did that. Ooh. Like, he's just upright at bass. Ooh, that man is, man.
He was singing. That was just coming out like crazy. As soon as I, you know, popped the CD in and hit play on that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love intros to albums.
Yeah,
man,
it's important,
great.
right?
That's definitely important. What do you remember, or like how much do you remember about this time? Because I feel like Water for Chocolate is when people started saying, like, yo, Common's kind of getting weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's dressing a little different. Did that kind of, but then with Electric Circus, I feel like you took it to another level.
No,
I'm really gonna turn up. Y'all think I'm weird? Watch this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like was that kind of you, like, revolting a little bit, or
I think like Water for Chocolate was truly like this was me moving from Chicago and kind of feeling like it was no more boxes that I had to fit into. And I was kind of in a discovery mode, like just like listening to different types of music, like Fela Kuti, who, you know, Afrobeat music, and listening to Slum Village, and it was just like, man, I remember it being like, I kind of stopped eating certain foods, and I was focusing like this. It was I was getting introduced and being surrounded by all these artists too, like. I was in New York around fashion designers and visual artists and musicians. I could go hear music at any point of great musicians. Yeah. And then I was in the studio, like, with Diller all the time, and in the studio with Quest, and D'Angelo was in this room, and Erykah Badu was in this room, and then it'd be like, it just was, I was around just some of the greatest musicians of a generation and ever. So That's what I can remember a lot of. And even going to get this cover, I went to a museum. This cover is the cover of Like Water for Chocolate is a Gordon Parks photo, who was this incredible photographer, director, like from way generations before. I went to a museum exhibit and I saw this photo and I saw a black woman drinking from a colored water fountain. And I was like, that's like water for chocolate. And
Wow.
and my point is I was just being influenced by all type of art. So that's why I think that album for me, it gave me a new birth into artistry, and I kind of put my wings on that album.
Yeah.
But then, you know, B was, well, Electric Circus was, and that's why I think Electric Circus, my friend told me when I made that album, he was like, man, you need to bring this album out 10 years from now. Like, it's
Ahead of its time.
yeah,
for
you know,
sure.
like, what are you doing? Like, you know, why are you doing this? But it was a little bit of revolt, too, like, of like, I'm not going to do the same thing. But it also was an interest in going out there where they said hip-hop couldn't go. It was an interest in me being like, you know what, I do like Pink Floyd, and I do like Jimi Hendrix, and I do like, you know, Radiohead. So why can't I do that, you know? And that, so, you know, and that was what Electric Circus. But B was like, I'm back to the roots of who I am. I've been like full circle, starting a new cycle. But now this new cycle is, I'm starting it with Kanye. So this is a producer that knows how to give me that essence of what I am, but also knows how to make records that sound like great
Massive,
records,
Bro,
big records.
I remember hooking my tape deck up to the TV and recording the Chappelle Show performance when y'all did the food. And I had like an exclusive because nobody had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the first LA leak right
Yes,
there.
sir.
I was giving this to all the homies, like, yo, y'all want to copy it? Bro, but like, tell us about that time, man, working on B with Kanye West. Like, what were those studio sessions like?
Man, those studio sessions was, man, it was like, first of all, that song, The Food, which we performed on Dave Chappelle, the first beat I got from Kanye, he actually was at the studio at somebody else's session. He was cooking up for somebody else. Because Kanye had for a long time been like, Ross, take this beat, try this beat, you know. And but I just, it was nothing that was clicking. But he was making this beat and he told me to come by the studio. When I walked in the studio, it was the Food beat. And I was like, he was like, man. I was like, whose beat is that? And he was like, man, I'm just making it in here, you know, but they coming soon, so take this beat and go. And I was like,
wait, do you want to tell us who it was?
I mean, it was Eve.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was,
Okay.
yep. So, so you know, that beat obviously fit my
Of
style like
course.
more.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was almost making that beat for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just was getting that off and then was going to make beats for her. So when I got that beat, that was the beginning of us just, because when I rhymed, he was like, man, you got a dope voice. Like he had been already, you know, he knew my raps from, but he was like, I guess it was kind of him just reimagining it as a producer. He was like, man, we could do a lot. And I was like, man, I'll be on good music and let's just do this project. So the studio sessions was like, it literally was like me going to buy records and putting records. I would sit certain CDs, like literally going to Amoeba sometimes or whatever record store I would go to and put CDs in front of Kanye. I would listen to the CDs, mark the ones that I thought had good music on them, put them in front of Kanye, let Kanye listen to them. He would sit there and put the dots on the songs he liked. He'd build his stack, then start putting all those samples in the drum machine and into his ASR-10 and just start chopping samples up. And man, we would chop. I remember he made the corners. He came to the studio. He had been partying or something all night or something. He was like, man, Rosh, I got to get a little sleep. Can I sleep for about a couple hours? So I'm like, cool, man. It was cool. So he slept for like 2 hours. As soon as he woke up, the corners was the first drums he started working on. Then he chopped up that sample. And I was like, yes, man, that sleep was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
paid
power
off.
nap.
Yeah,
That
that
young
power
nap.
Yeah. So it was all, man. And the thing about that, once I wrote the rap with that song, he started envisioning the video like, yo, we going to be in Chicago and it's going to be cold and blah, blah, blah. And literally, we went to Chicago to film the video. It was one of the coldest days in Chicago. I was sick filming the video, but it was just so invigorating just doing the work we was doing. For me, it was a joy to have a collaborator who knew how to do hooks. Like, he point blank knew how to do hooks better than me. So it was like, oh, okay. I was learning a lot too from Ye, and just he knew like the Chicago me. He knew all the stuff. So it was like, man, this is a great combination.
Great collaboration. Great chemistry between y'all two.
That's crazy. And I mean, so I want to talk about where you think the transition happened in the Chicago hip hop scene, man, because I feel like early on, it was cats like you, Kanye, it was like more on some fly. There was still the ruggedness. Yeah. Even with records like, I don't know, the first record to come to mind is Hungry. Right. Off of One Day at All. Like there's still like raw there. But I feel like, I don't know where it transitioned into, the young kids who are making drill music and stuff. What do you think caused that transition, and where do you think, like, is there a time where you remember it happening? Like, damn, like these kids are killing
they're doing it.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, that transition, I think it happened because, like, first of all, the music was evolving, hip hop was evolving. A lot of some of the trap sound was starting to be prevalent, and the new artists and new producers was figuring out a new sound, how not to do just the same thing that had been done. And the youngins on the streets was just raw. Like, they just was like, they just got a raw, like, mentality. Mm-hmm. And that was coming out in the music too. So, because initially it was, Twista was from the hood, to be honest, West Side, but he still was like kind of on some hip hop. Yeah. Do or Die, they was definitely giving you some hood, and then you got me, Ye, Lupe, but then the next wave was Chief Keef and Lil Durk and G Herbo, where he was Lil Herb then, and Bibby. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think they was just giving that raw feeling of their generation, and that's honestly, like, in her love, when I'm talking about, like, giving it up for a lot of the new artists, I'm paying respect to them because I feel like they just expressing what they feel, man, and I respect that. Like, it's a new time, a new era, and they see things in the way that they feel it, and I think that's what the music has always been for us. So I think those Chicago artists was like, yo, this is how we hearing hip hop right now. Yeah.
You gonna do some touring?
Oh yeah, my tour starts on July 11th. Okay. Let Love tour. I'm all across the whole country. I'm going to freaking Idaho. I ain't been to Idaho to perform.
Some new spots. New spots on the map.
New spots on the map. But
we go.
But I'll be in LA.
We pulling up.
Yeah, come on, man. You gotta pull up. You gotta pull up. I'm at the Ace Hotel, like on July 24th. Yeah.
You breakdancing on stage still? We still trying that?
I don't know.
Look like that would hurt. Man.
I still could do it though.
I know you can.
Yeah, but it's like
you'll feel it a little more after
tomorrow.
I might feel it after. Yeah. It's in my heart though.
That's right. That's right, man. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock and learn as much as we can about Common in 60 seconds. This is a piece we call Just in Time.
Yeah.
We're gonna throw some questions at you.
Yeah.
We'll let them get like a pass or two. But anything over that, you gotta donate $100 to your favorite charity.
Okay.
We just made that up on the spot.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
If you say okay, we'll roll with it.
You said your favorite charity is LA Leakers.
The shoe foundation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right, Mel. Let us know when we're ready.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Common, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Who's winning the NBA Finals, Warriors or Raptors?
Warriors.
What's your favorite Common album?
Like Water for Chocolate.
Best hip hop album of all time?
Illmatic.
Would you rather Trump get impeached or you become a billionaire?
Trump impeached.
Your most prized possession?
Man, I want to rewind that. I want to be a billionaire too. My most prized possession is that Oscar.
Okay. Most underrated artist ever in your opinion?
Large Professor.
Would you rather forget your phone or your wallet at the crib?
My wallet.
Okay. Favorite place to listen to music?
In my car, man.
How do you want to be remembered?
As somebody who is fun, loving, child of God, inspiring, and one of the greatest.
Best advice you ever got?
My father would always just tell me to go kick ass. So that was just, that was his way of saying be your best.
That's right.
Yeah.
Finish this sentence. I hate it when.
I hate it when people who have a job don't know what they're doing, meaning you can get in an Uber and the Uber driver don't know where he's going, or you go to the grocery store and you ask where this is in the aisle and they don't know that. Or,
Right.
You know,
like,
people
you work
that,
here?
yeah, you work here. Do you work here?
Can I speak to someone who works here?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I had to let him finish that last one because that's actually makes a lot of sense. I hate
You
that
felt
too.
that, right?
Actually,
You
yeah.
felt that.
I never knew I hated that until you just said it. I actually fucking hate that
Right.
too. You know?
Yeah, I be asking people like, yo, can you help me find I don't know where that is.
Like, yo.
Yo, come on, man.
Hold on, I got a question real quick. Is Common underrated?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
I mean-
I don't even know if I need you to elaborate on it. You can,
Right.
but I mean, Jay-Z wants to rhyme like Common Sense.
Thanks.
So it's like, I mean, come on, man.
Well, I mean, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna say that no more.
No, you can
I'm
say
not.
it.
I'm not underrated. But you know why I say that? Because I feel like the rhymes and the style of music I do is not always like. That's not. I'm like a jazz musician when it comes to hip hop. Like I approach things from an artistic place.
Yeah.
So that I gotta know that ain't always what the popular dot.
yeah.
So I'm not underrated. I choose to make that type of. If I choose to make like water for chocolate, I gotta know that that ain't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do what feels right.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a conversation with Jay when that lyric hit?
No, I just was telling him. Maybe I did tell him that I liked that he said that. I was happy because when Jay mentioned you, especially even though it was like it had its double meaning.
Yeah,
like, look,
yeah.
he was like, look, I want to rhyme like this dude, but I'm making money, fool. But so it I kind of rocked with it in a way that it was like, yo, I understood that he was like, yo, I respect what this dude doing, but this what I'm on, and I did tell him I was happy he said it because it was at that point it was dudes that like just looked at me and was like, oh, Common just a hip hop backpack dude. But because Jay even mentioned me,
Right.
it's like they like, oh, we might need to respect Common a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah, so
That's
it was-
a bar.
it was-
Yo, bro, I mean, we could sit here all day,
Yeah.
all night.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We appreciate you coming by. The new book is out now. The album is coming.
Yes.
Yes. Let love.
Yeah,
Let
Let
Love.
Love Have the Last Word is out right now, and the audio book.
Yeah, the audio
If you
book
don't like,
is
if
that.
you're lazy like me,
too.
if you don't want to sit and read, you could get the audio book. Did you read it? You read
I
it?
did the audio book and we scored it too, so
Okay.
it's got music to it.
Okay.
But I did that audio book, man. I spent freaking 40 hours in that damn booth. So
Put you to
please,
work in
listen,
there, huh?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, please go. Listen, if you're gonna buy the book, buy the audio book too.
Do that.
Because
Let's
he
do
spent
it.
a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Just do it. Just do it, y'all. You'll dig
And the
it.
album is Let Love.
The album is called Let Love because it's inspired by the book, and the first single is Her Love by it's featuring Daniel C's and additional lyrics with Dwelle, so I'm geeked about that.
Man, we appreciate you
What a
coming
moment.
by, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been a
Man,
few
thank
years,
y'all,
man.
brother, for
But
having me.
thank
Thank you, man. Great
Much
to see
respect.
you guys, man.
Always, man. Always.
Common, the LA Leakers, Jay Creddy, Sourmilk,
Yeah.
Power 106. Thank
Hey,
you,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir.